So I did found the problem, and I connected the standard inline BMW fuel pump and started straight away. So for some reason this pump needs some pressure to work better, to start better. Doesn't seem right. I mean, same engine in my S14 with no fuel pump connected or anything, just starts at the bottom, which that's what this engine is supposed to do. For some reason I need a fuel pump in line to put some pressure to start it proper on when it's cold. I'm not going to investigate this too much now because I just don't have the time. I'm just going to leave that pump in. But there's a problem with this, and I'll show you. Because this fuel filter housing, it's not meant to work with the big pressures, alright? It's just some feed pressure. So I'll show you what happens. So you got a fuel pressure gauge there, and see what happens with the housing. You see? Wait till pressure rises to 2 bar, because the battery is flat, glow plug is gonna go off, and the pressure goes up. You see? Hold it off. There you go. Again. So I'm quite happy with 2 bar pressure supply, but obviously this filter housing is not good, which puts me fucking down a little bit. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, definitely. That'll bring me down.
Instead of fucking going forward, I'm supposed to do electronics for the gearbox and move these things out the ramp. This thing on the ramp. Well, if I do the prop shaft, instead I have to sort out the fuel system. Alright, now I'll show you a couple of things and I'm gonna explain. You see, now it starts fine. I had a few issues, as I showed you before. There was a problem with the fuel lines. It wasn't a problem with the filter itself. I done the fuel system in the wrong way. Now the fuel lines go straight to the fuel filter first, from the fuel filter to the mechanical lift pump on the pump itself, and then from the short pipe straight to the high pressure pump, and it has no problems whatsoever. I don't need any pressure in the system, anything, and it just, you see, starts perfect all the time. It just works great. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing I showed you, you've seen as soon as I started, the ref counter didn't work. The reason for that is because my ref counter takes the signal, the RPM signal from the alternator, like old school engines, which still has to be calibrated. Obviously, you have the calibrations on the clock itself, but I'm gonna wait till I have my off gear control on the gearbox, because that shows you the exact engine RPM. So I'm gonna match them obviously with my clock, so it's gonna be calibrated. So I'm not worried about this now. To be honest, that's supposed to be set up already, the gearbox controller, but I was messing about half a day with this bloody fuel system. I didn't understand what was wrong with, so obviously I had to. So yeah, this is a little bit of a step back. Today the gearbox is supposed to be finished completely, and I haven't even touched it, so a bit pissed off with this, but you know, this shit happens. It's even better because you understand the systems, you know, as you should. I know now how this pump like to work with the fuel system, what they don't like. So it is easy in the future to diagnose any problems, any possible problems, or even give advice to someone. You know, that's how you learn, by experiment. Now, as you see, the ref counter didn't work, and as soon as I touched this cable here, you see this white one, just touched it on to the positive, to the battery, and I show you, obviously you hear the engine dropped in RPMs, and the ref counter started to work. This is because this wire has to go inside, and we have to go on the dash, and we have to be connected to the light. It's a check light on the battery charge. Now the engine dropped in RPMs because obviously we activated, we did what with that wire, we activated, we turned on the alternator, which essentially then gives me a signal to the RPMs. And the battery is pretty flat. You know, I mean, you hear it when it cranks, it's barely cranked. So obviously there's a lot of current absorption, or whatever you call it. So that's the things. Now this one, to shut the engine off, what I did, I used this Volkswagen and Audi boost controller valve. This is a three-way one, although you see two pipes. This is actually three-way because it's vacuum in, vacuum out, and vent off valve. And this is very important. It has to be three-way. Explaining why. Because this pipe comes from your vacuum pump, which is this one here. Okay, this pipe here, which goes all the way down to the brake servo, and from the brake servo you see that red pipe. This one here, this one goes to this, which is the vacuum supply. Now when this is switched off, this is blocked. Okay, it's completely blocked. There's no passage. When you give them 12 volt, so you turn it on, it will open the passage between this, and this vent is shut down. It's completely blocked. But this one is connected with this. So essentially what you have is a vacuum going through, and you have vacuum on this. And this pipe goes all the way here. Say hello. All the way here. She's very happy about all this black smoke. All the way down there, and obviously you know to use shut-off valve on the mechanical 603 pump on these engines. That's how you stop these engines. Now, once you stop it, okay, so you turn this off. If you have vacuum on this line and it's completely sealed, you always have a vacuum, and the valve still shut down. When you're going to restart the engine, you cannot do it because the valve is still activated. So what happens with this valve here, which is boost controller, when you remove the 12 volt from here, so you shut it off, this gets blocked, disconnected from this one, and this gets open. This valve here inside is like a vent off valve, and releases the vacuum from here. So you don't have any vacuum here, and obviously you shut off valve, release all the vacuum, and you can restart the engine again. This is quite important. It's very simple to use it. Now I know a lot of you are gonna say, why don't you use just a Merc ignition barrel or Sprinter's ignition barrel, which that's how they work. They have this mechanical valve inside, vacuum valve to stop the engines. It's because I don't want to change my ignition barrel. I keep my Vivaro ignition barrel. Everything inside has to be as stock as possible. So I'm just gonna put one of these switches somewhere. Maybe this one, maybe another one. Maybe you can put it hidden. You can put it on the switches that you don't use. I don't know, fog lamps, for example, additional fog lamps, so no one knows what it is, and only you know. You know, to start the engine or shut it down, you have to set this up. It works kind of like a mechanical or really weird immobilizer, you know, just a switch hiding somewhere. And although the engine is fully mechanical, if you don't flick that switch, you won't be able to start it. Or if you don't know how to do it, you won't be able to stop the engine. Unless you know this engine, so you can, you know, put your hand there and then work on the ALDA system. Just pull the ALDA down and it shut down. What else I've done? As you can notice, the intercooler is on. Pipes already been done before, but I just put it on permanently because I don't have to work anything else. Everything was good. The cooling system, which I showed you in the previous video, is the radiator is on the top there, and even with fans not activated, not turning on, there's no 12 volts, there's nothing, no current there, the cooling system now as it is looks like it's working very, very good, much better than I was expecting. I'm actually really surprised it works very good. Obviously I know now we have to test it up the hill, fully loaded, probably with the trailer behind, you know, putting some pressure, EGT sky high as much as possible, and then we see if the cooling system is good enough for extended period of time with the engine on the load. Another thing is this is my dipstick. It is flexible, you can put it wherever you want, and this is very handy because obviously with all this stuff then it's pretty tight, it will be difficult to get the original one. This is very simple, you just, you know, unscrew it, and once you unscrew it you can just, you know, put it off and check your oil level. Now what else? Okay, this is vacuums, charging, this is my wiring, pretty much is all there. This is the alternator, big cable underneath there, this on the bottom here is the starter motor. These are the glow plugs. This is a sensor, this too is another sensor, a couple of things, you know, but nothing major, and that's it, to be honest. Yes, I'm still gonna have to tidy up over here. Half of the stuff is not needed. These are lights of the car, obviously, so yeah, kind of need those. This is my, I don't know if you can see it there, AN10, this is AN12 actually, AN12 aeronautic fitting, and this is, for now, is completely atmospheric. I'm probably gonna put it inside the exhaust on the downpipe. It can be done if you plug it on properly, but you have to be careful how you plug it on, because you have to generate kind of like a Venturi effect. So the exhaust gases flow will help the flow of the breather. If you do it wrong, you're gonna pressurize it, which is obviously not good. But if you do it right, it can be done. So we have to do a couple of experiments, but I think that's the way we're gonna do it, instead of atmospheric just inside the downpipe. I haven't done it yet because there's no downpipe yet. I did put a heat jacket on the turbo because obviously you see it's very close to my brake booster, and I want to keep all the heat away as much as possible. Same from the head and on this plastic cover. I mean, it's good to have them on. Plus they keep obviously the heat inside the turbo, which is good. I'm supposed to heat rub my exhaust manifold as well, and I haven't done it. Now I could say a lot of various reasons, you know, tons of excuses, but the truth is I just forgot. I can't be bothered to take it off to do it. Fuck it, it stays this way. I'm gonna heat rub the whole downpipe, so you know, fuck it. What else? Not much. Oh, I'll show you the gearbox. My fuck up, which I was doing yesterday. It is, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, there on the floor, pretty low, which is a bit awkward, but it is still alright. Say hello. I said say hello. He's a grumpy bastard like me, so won't say hello. Don't expect him to say anything. So he's actually more grumpy than me. Now this gate is, as you can see, is reversed, okay, but it works. Everything is connected, you know, it's all there. No problems whatsoever. It's all messed with the wiring still. That's the OLED controller. Yeah, left over from the BMW stuff, OBD port, etc. It has to be clean. This is my map sensor, 5 bar. So this is the other way around, because I have actually fitted on the normal way. Everything worked sweet, and usually they link to the gearbox through a solid bar, and I used a linkage because obviously the position my gear stick is won't allow me to use anything mechanical, not anything solid, so it has to be a link, you know, like a gearbox link. So I've connected everything, I've done all the ratios and everything worked perfectly, but I fucked up completely, and when I put in drive, the gearbox was in parking, and when I put in parking, the gearbox was in drive. There you go, sorry for that. So that was a big fuck up. And in order to fix that, I will have to change the support of that link, and I will have to have a much longer one, and obviously because this is a race against the time now, I don't want to rush it too much, so I still want to do stuff fairly reliable and fairly good, but you know, not beautiful, because again, it's just no time for this. And as you know, fuck it, because I will have to order one, wait one for the arrive, and again, these times it's not really great time to order stuff and wait for it to arrive, because it could be any time, and I want this on the road by next week. So I just say fuck it, I make a decision, turn the gate around, and it actually works in reverse. I think once you get used to it, I won't be able to change. I mean, I wouldn't want to change it. I mean, you get used to it, fuck it, it works, it selects the gears, that's what you want to do. And also, what I was thinking, I don't know if you know, but the Vivaro, you see here on the steering wheel, you have a plus and minus, positive and negative. This is for the radio volume, up and down. And I think, because they're just right there behind the steering wheel, they're very comfy to use on your fingers, I think I'm gonna set up my paddle shifting, because obviously with the off gear controller you can do it. You can buy a paddle shift or whatever. I think I'm gonna use those. I don't know if I can or not, but probably yes. I'm not really that great with the electronics, but I think I can figure this out. Now the front, I could actually put the front back on, but I don't want to, because I need to put the mount here for my winch. And now the winch has to be reconditioned because it's actually seized. For some reason it's been there sitting in someone's garden for years probably, so it's a good winch but it's seized. I have to open it and recondition it. Obviously I have to change the rope. I don't use steel ropes anymore because, as you know, they're dangerous, so this has to be changed. And now I'm not going to be bothered with fixing the winch for now, but before fitting everything on the front, I want to make a mount there and actually have it physically, the winch there. So then I just have to do is just remove the size of it and then strip it down and recondition it. Obviously here I need two fans. I want one fan here. This is cooler for the engine oil, and this is a cooler for the gearbox oil. Now I have one of these fans, but this is unfortunately a pulling type fan, not pushing. And this is not one of those which you can just turn this around and you can swap them, push or pull. This is completely pull, and I need one to push the air down. So I have to order these two. Now these two fans, eventually I want them to be controlled by this temperature controller on the boost pipe. So when the intake, let's say, temperature reaches certain temps too high, I want them to go on automatically. Again, this is going to be something I'm going to do later on, because it's for now just put on the switch, you know. If you don't have time for this, for the bigger jobs, fuck it. I'm going to do it later on. I think once the car is finished and it's going to work, and I can actually drive it, I'm going to finish my fuel tank, which is here. It's nearly there. Not much to be done. Well, not much to be done. Probably 2 days labor. Finish to wear it out, put the vents on, all the connecting pipes and fuel senders and all the stuff. So at least 2 days work, and then put it underneath of the floor, because for now I'm still using my BMW 330 diesel fuel tank under the bed, which is not great. So I want to get rid of that. What else? I think that's it. It doesn't look like much, but I've done quite a lot for the last 3 days. There's been a lot of fucking about. Again, me being stupid. You know, when you rush, you're doing job twice. You know, with that gearbox selector, I was just rushing and say, yeah, that's right. Yeah, just do it. It's all sweet. And you go to select the gears. Fuck. This is what you pay for rushing. You know, you do the job twice. Same with the fuel system. To be honest, no, that wasn't my mistake. Well, it was my mistake, but it wasn't because I'm not checking. I had no idea that the fuel pump didn't like to work this kind of way. Maybe because there was too much fuel in the system all the way down between the lift pump and the pump itself. So instead of making some pressure into the pump, it was just compressed, like, you know, the fuel just dumping down. And I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the reason. Because I've changed it and I make a really short pipe between the lift pump and the pump itself. Now works like a treat. It's all perfect. Starts perfectly, nicely, etc, etc. So yeah. Shame I can't work on this tomorrow. I'm gonna be back next Tuesday, so probably gonna finish the front and make another video. I think it's time to make this downpipe, because now I'm trying to start. Let me grab the light. I'll show you. She's been ruining some hours now. You can tell that it's all black from the smoke. You see down there? I don't know if you can see it. It's all really black inside, even the engine itself. Let me just grab the light this way. See? This is supposed to be yellow. How dare you? You happy, Greta?